Great new day to all my self-care family and friends. Welcome to another episode of the Room to Breathe podcast. I am your host, Life Coach 614, and I am so thrilled to have each and every one of you here with us today. Whether you are tuning in for a dose of inspiration or just a moment of calm, you're in the right place. Before we dive into today's episode, just a quick reminder. If you are enjoying the show, don't forget to tap the screen, share the live, like, and comment. Your engagement is key in helping us to connect with more amazing people like you. We'd love for you to give us a follow if we are not friends already, and to subscribe to our channel. Make sure you turn on your notifications as well so you don't miss any of our content. And while you're at it, I encourage you all to, at some point, head over to selfcareclub.org. We have some affirmative apparel, motivational merch, including music, and a bunch of free resources designed just for you. It's all about empowering yourself and embracing your journey. And we're here to help you get started. Now, let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together.
In the quiet moments, that's where I'll find a little room to breathe, leave it all behind. Give me room to breathe, I need some time to heal my heart, to clear my mind. Gonna love myself, yeah, I believe in the power of me. Just give me room to breathe.
Thank you, Mr. T. I see you. Kale, I see you. Great new day to all. Shan in the house. Southside, where you at? Big Dog, I see. Big Dog, I don't know that I spoke to you earlier. I've been all over the place. My apologies. Tried you to my head, not my heart. Right? You know the love is real, bro. Clementina, welcome in. Southside, I know y'all there. Roughman, I know y'all there. I'ma just love on y'all anyway. We're gonna just continue to spread this positivity anyway. Everybody operating on a delay. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. It's cool. I was almost not here on time myself. We good. It's all good, y'all. So listen, y'all. Our quote for today. Sometimes the best thing you can do is remain quiet and let God show them. Let me give y'all that again. Morning, Big Joe. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is to remain quiet and let God show them. I feel like I could just drop the mic, we leave it there. It's all said and done, right? But of course, y'all know I got something to back it up. Liz, welcome in. Thank you, Big Joe. So y'all know, life has a way of throwing challenges at us. Life be lifing. Often when we least expect it. Sometimes the most surprising part of these challenges is the people who cause them. Right? The people who introduce those challenges into our life. Whether it's a friend, a colleague, your family, because y'all know sometimes it be your own people bringing you mess and drama, right? There are moments when words simply seem to fail us, when explanations just fall on deaf ears, right? When defending ourselves feels like a never-ending battle. I feel like every day I had to fight, right? I got to fight to prove my love every single day. I got to fight to prove my worth to people. To teach people that I'm valid, that my feelings are valid, that I matter, that I'm worthy, that I deserve. That it's a fight. Literally, we are fighting for our lives in what seems sometimes to be a never-ending, never-winning battle. But it's in these moments when I want you guys to begin to remember something so powerful. That sometimes the best thing you can do in these situations is to just remain quiet. Say less. right? And one of my favorite shows, movies, plays, whatever you want to call it, Hamilton. He teaches Hamilton, and he tries to get Hamilton to stop talking because Alexander Hamilton is a talker, right? And he says, talk less, listen more. And that's something that always speaks with me. I got a teenage son, so I'm constantly like, say less, bruh, say less. Because you get yourself in trouble the more you talk and the more you try to explain yourself and plead your case. Say less, right? And so sometimes the best thing that we can do is to say less. That goes hand in hand with us letting go and letting God do what he gonna do, right? Let karma handle it. Karma can handle it much better than we can, right? So sometimes we just got to remain quiet and let God. No, thank you for asking, Zach, but no, you cannot. That is a title that is reserved specifically for my husband. But thank you for asking. But yeah, so sometimes all we can do is be quiet and let God show up and show out, right? And you know, it's easy for us to get caught up in the heat of the moment. Oftentimes we feel the urge to defend ourselves, right? We feel the need to argue a point, to explain our side of the story. But what if instead of reacting to these situations, we choose to respond with silence, right? What if instead of reacting, we choose to take a step back and just let silence be our response? You know, I'm constantly talking to you guys about learning to respond to situations instead of always reacting to situations. Because when we react to situations, we typically get ourselves in trouble. That's when, you know, we throw daggers with our words. It's hard to come back from some of these situations. But if we just take a moment to pause and respond, sometimes through silence, not even saying anything. Just letting it be, right? Just because that person is wrong, it doesn't mean what I'm gonna say next is right. We might both be wrong. You know what I mean? So what if we just trusted God or whatever higher power you believe in, and just trust that, you know, the universe sees everything and will reveal the truth in time, right? Because ultimately that's our only judge, right? We always say only God can judge me. And so why do I need to defend myself to you? Why do I need to plead my case to you when ultimately only God can judge me? And so, you know, we have to understand and really start to truly understand that remaining quiet doesn't mean that you're weak. Doesn't mean that you're passive. Silence is not an admission of guilt either. It honestly takes immense strength to hold back when every single fiber of your being wants to speak out. Right? Remaining silent is about having faith that justice will prevail, that the truth will come to the light, that everything done in the dark comes to the light eventually, right? And that for the people who have wronged us, at some point in life, they will see the error in their ways. And so in Exodus 14:14, it says, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still." The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. It means you just gotta sit. You gotta be still. You gotta let him fight your battles. You gotta let him. You gotta let go, let God. Right? Lay it at the altar, give it to him, and let him fight that battle. Because that battle is not ours. And you know, think about the beauty of silence. The absolute beauty in silence. Sometimes when we silence everything else, when we turn off all the noise, right? We get to hear the beauty in silence. See, I'll use Kale as an example. A little while ago, Kale couldn't hear the birds because of the noise. Sonia, welcome in. Kale couldn't hear the birds because of the noise, and she needed the birds because that's her sense of peace. That is her sense of calm. So in order for her to hear what she needed, we had to silence the extra noise. We had to tune out some other things, right? And so sometimes that is necessary for us in life, to tune out some of the noise and understand the silence and the peace. Big Dog says you don't have to be loud to prove a point. Absolutely. And here's the thing. If the other person isn't even open to someone else's perspective, you'll never prove your point. So I have to ask myself, do I want to be right or do I want to have peace? Because sometimes being right means you have no peace. Sometimes being right is constantly you fighting for your life over and over and over again. Jay, welcome in. I hope I'm not too boring for you. Stick around, Jay. Stick around. So again, there is something so beautiful about the silence. Something so beautiful about the peace. In those quiet moments, that's when we find clarity. One of the verses in the song that I have in my manifestation song, one of the verses that I wrote says, in the silence of my mind, the answers become clear. Meaning, when I turn off everything else that's going on in my mind, when I let go of all of the noise in the background that's happening for me, my answers become clear. What I need to do becomes clear. The universe whispers to me. It speaks to me, right? It shows me the signs. It gets me back on my path to continue to walk in my purpose. Queen's Court, welcome in. I see why. Welcome in. And so, it's in those moments when we pause, right? Those mindful moments of the day where you can hear your own thoughts. You can reflect on your own actions. You can begin to connect with inner peace. When we stop trying to control the narrative and we let go of the need to prove ourselves to people, it opens up space for divine intervention. Right? Yes, Kale. Be still and know. Period. I'm sorry, Kale said be still and know. Exclamation point. I know I'm right. I know that my feelings are valid. I know that I am worthy. I know that I am valued. I know that I am deserving. You knowing it, that's nice. But as long as I know it, that's what matters, right? And so Psalms 37:7 says, be still before the Lord and patiently wait for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Right? It tells us to be still, be patient, wait for him, trust in him. Don't fret. Meaning, don't be afraid. Don't worry about what other people do. When they go out there and spread their toxic energy, their wicked schemes, when people out here plotting against you, don't worry about it. Because we also know that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. So I don't really care what you got to say. Right? I don't even really care. I don't identify as such. I don't subscribe to that mess. So I'm not going to entertain it. I'm going to just sit here. I'm going to be still. Peace, be still. That's how you got to remember that. Medea told y'all, peace, be still. Right? This doesn't mean we ignore injustice. It doesn't mean that we're going to allow ourselves to be mistreated. See, I'm going to set boundaries. Right? We already identified respect and protect. That's my new creed. My boundaries are drawn so I'm free to breathe. So I know that I'm going to set boundaries for myself. So I'm not going to allow you in so much where you get to disturb my peace, where you get to hurt me. Come on, flexing in God's peace, right on time. Welcome in. But I'm not going to allow people to step over the line. I'm not going to give you that much access to me because I am very intentional about who I allow to experience me. And I'm intentional up front so I don't have to handle it on the back end. If I don't let everybody in the beginning, right? If I only roll with an exclusive elite circle of people, then I don't have to worry about it all on the back end. So again, being still, being silent, being faithful, thank you, big dog, does not mean that we're going to ignore injustice. It does not mean that we are going to tolerate the mess. Yeah, they need a password. Honey, you access denied. And they be trying, chosen one, for real, they be trying to really get in, right? Because they like, oh, she over there living love and light. She all positive and on purpose and, you know, what do they say? Little Miss Peace and Positivity, right? So they want a piece. Because listen, when you have a piece of something, somebody always want a piece of it. And they don't care that it's your last piece. They don't care if it's your last $2. All right? They don't care nothing about your bus fare or your jukebox. If they need it, they want it. And if you're not careful, you let them close enough, they done took it from you before you even recognize that they done took it from you. Yesterday we talked about being careful with asking for a sign because the devil can throw up billboards too. That was our topic yesterday, y'all. And so, you know, carrying that forward into today's message, you know, being silent doesn't mean that I'm going to fall for things, that I'm going to be gullible. Being silent allows me to observe the things that I normally wouldn't have seen. Because see, if I was so busy talking, I wouldn't have heard what I needed to hear. You know what I mean? So I want to be silent so I can listen. Because you can't talk and listen at the same time. And I need to hear what's going on. I need to hear what you're really saying. Like, I see you smiling in my face all the time, want to take my place. Those backstabbers, right? I see you. But I need to hear what you're saying. And if I'm so busy talking, trying to prove myself to you, I don't really hear what you're saying. Because, you know, people be smiling in your face talking stuff and they be like, yeah, she ain't nothing. You know, she come out here going live and thinking that she doing something and being Miss Positive and da-da-da-da-da. But if I'm talking, all I see is that bright, happy face. And I'm like, oh, they have great energy. No, they don't. They just have a really good mask. Welcome in, Miss Denise. So you got to be careful. And sometimes you just got to say less and listen more. And, you know, it means you got to pick and choose your battles, right? It means you got to choose your battles wisely to conserve your energy for the things that truly, truly matter. It means we got to learn how to trust in our actions. We have to trust our character. If you know you're right, why are you arguing about it? My dad used to tell me this story growing up about a man and a monkey inside of a glass house in the middle of the neighborhood. So imagine walking down the sidewalk in your neighborhood, whatever that looks like for you. And in this neighborhood, I would imagine y'all don't live on a block that has glass houses. Morning, Mel. Bethany, welcome in. So imagine walking down the street in your neighborhood and you come upon a glass house. You can see everything inside that house. It's all right there. So first and foremost, you are intrigued. Where did this glass house come from? And as you look over at this house, you know, you notice that there is a man and a monkey arguing in the living room. Now, you're really intrigued because do they know that I can see them? Why does this man have a monkey? Why is he arguing with the monkey? Does Does the monkey understand what the man is saying? Okay, wait. But does the man understand what the monkey is saying? Now, this is an intense argument, and y'all know that everybody's stopping and looking now. Like, I don't even care if other people see me. I'm stopping and I'm staring because I'm trying to figure out why there's a man arguing with the monkey in this glass house for all to see. And so a lot of times when we get ourselves in these situations where we want to keep debating with people, especially when people aren't on our level, be it that they are beneath us or above us, right? And when we sit here and we keep going back and forth, you got to ask yourself, am I the man in this situation? Am I the monkey in this situation? Because the more I try to plead my case, the less you even understand me. Because you're too busy trying to plead your case. So we just keep going back and forth. And now we're just being entertaining comment for those people passing by, right? We're wasting valuable moments. And so anytime I start to argue, if I start to debate, if I start to have to prove who I am to somebody, I immediately see this visual of a man and a monkey arguing in the window. And I had to teach my husband this because we have a teenage son. And you know they have their degree and they know everything, honey. And so they be testing you. And so my husband tends to go back and forth. And those are two places that I just refuse to go with children, because if the United States doesn't negotiate with terrorists, neither do I. And I believe that children are terrorists. So, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. Those are just two places I choose not to go. But my husband sometimes has this tendency to go back and forth with my son. And I just look at my husband and I say, so today are you playing the role of the man or the monkey? Because neither one of you are listening to what the other is saying. And truthfully, you're both saying the same thing. But the fact is, you're not seeking a conversation, you're seeking action. And the more you talk, the less he's going to act, right? So hopefully that makes sense. It took me years to understand the man and the monkey story, y'all. So y'all might not get that off the bat, but one day it's gonna come to y'all, and y'all gonna be like, Coach said that. I remember, right? But seriously, it means, being silent in these situations truly just means that we trust ourselves. We believe in ourselves. We believe in our character. And our integrity speaks louder than words could ever say, right? Imagine, being in a situation where you're just being misunderstood. Imagine being in a situation where you have been unfairly judged, right? Your natural reaction is to explain yourself. Defend yourself. Clear up the misunderstanding immediately, right? But what if instead you just took a deep breath and chose to respond with silence? It's cool. That's your perception of me. It doesn't define me, but yeah. I can see why you, of all people, you would think that, right? Understand that silence is not empty. Silence carries weight. That's why when they read your rights to you, they tell you that you have the right to remain silent. And that anything you say can and will be used against you, right? So they warn you to tell you that you have the right to choose to be silent. But instead, we all argue and plead our case. Something that is so not necessary, right? We have to choose to be silent. Yeah, Mr. T says silence can take you a long way. Welcome in, Chantel. How are you? Lady Mo, Birdie Flo, welcome in. Or Biddy Flo. So another scripture is in Ecclesiastes. Hold on, let me make sure I get it right. 3:7. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. Let me get this right. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. You got to understand that it is all about your timing. By remaining quiet, you are allowing time for reflection. Not just for yourself, but for other people as well. So when you are trying to get someone to understand your perspective, sometimes you just got to be quiet to give them the opportunity to stop talking. Because if I'm trying to get you to hear what I'm saying, if you are not in the position where you are ready to stop talking, nothing I say is going to be heard. It is going to fall on deaf ears because, again, you cannot talk and listen. You'll hear me, but you won't listen to me. I'm not saying that listening comes with agreement. We can agree to disagree all the time. But if you are pleading your case and I have the desire to do so as well, we have to agree that both of us deserve to have our perspective, right? And so by remaining silent, that allows for reflection. It allows us to then respond to situations rather than constantly reacting to them. And there is such a profound serenity that comes with trusting that God will reveal the truth. You know, when we remain quiet, we're not ignoring the issue at hand. We're just showing that we have faith in the process, that we have faith in justice, that we have faith in, unevening and unveiling the truth. We're saying, I trust this, what's meant to be seen will be seen. But in the meantime, you're allowing the process to unfold. When you're being silent, you are then nurturing yourself. You are filling your cup up all the while because you know this fool fitting to drain all my energy. So while they sitting here running their mouth and doing what they do, let me go over here and fill my cup up. Right? Let me pour back into myself. So this is where something that my pastor said comes into play, y'all. For those who have been around me, y'all might have heard me say this, right? This is where y'all get on your faith walk. Yes, Kel, yes. So, during a series at church over a decade ago, it was a women's series, and pastor was stepping on all the women's toes, okay? And he was talking about how women, we talk too much, that we argue too much. So, they were doing it was a family series. So he did the men, he did the women, he did the children, he did the couples, and he did the single people. So he touched on every single aspect of the family, right? And so during the women's series, he tore us down, y'all. Only to build us back up, though. But he talked about how women talk too much and how we constantly feel the need to argue and defend ourselves. And we constantly are fighting to be heard and seen, right? And so he said sometimes we just need to, I'm going to be frank with y'all, sometimes we just need to shut up. Sometimes we just need to say less. And I really believe that this pertains to all people, right? For people who are constantly wanting to argue and talk back and clap back and we always got something to say. What up, Perk? Sometimes we just have to stir the greens and cook the corn. And so he gave this analogy because obviously he was on the women that day. And, he's just saying how when everything is going on in the house, and let's say my focus right now is cooking dinner for my family, but there's total chaos. There's arguing, I'm trying to prove myself, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, whatever. Well, if I don't focus on what I'm supposed to be doing, which is providing this meal for my family, if I don't stir these greens and cook this corn, I done let what y'all got going on in the background mess up the meal for everybody. Now nobody eats. So I got to stay focused on what I'm supposed to be doing. And so anytime I think about letting go and letting God, or saying less and listening more, I always, always, always think about that phrase, stir the greens and cook the corn. And that has helped me because at the time when I was in this series, I was a single woman. Well, I was in a relationship, but he was in a lot of relationships. So that's why he ain't my man now. But so theoretically, I was a single woman. Because if you ain't married, you single. I don't care how long you've been shacking up. I ain't here to judge. I'm just saying, if you ain't married, you single. Okay? Not everybody recognizes common law relationships and whatever. So for the sake of this conversation, if you ain't married, you single. And so at the time, I was single. And, you know, hearing this message about stir the greens and cook the corn, it was just kind of funny. Maybe until I got married. And then when I got married, I still had this single woman mentality. And I'm not talking about the for the streets, being out there entertaining mess mentality, because I've never had that mentality. I've been a wife since I was born. I was just being a wife to boyfriends, right? But so when I say I had a single mentality, I had this mentality that it is me against the world. I had this mentality that I had to prove myself and defend myself and debate everything. And I got to be right. He got to be wrong. I can't be wrong. I know it all, right? So I had this single, independent mentality. And so when I got married, y'all, I really, truly had to learn how to stir the greens and cook the corn. Because, baby, learning how to be a wife with a husband. See, I have been a wife with a boyfriend several times. But learning how to actually be a wife to your husband. Walking into the full submission. Yeah, I'm still a work in progress, okay? Some days I submit, some days I don't. You know what I'm saying? He ain't in here. So, y'all don't get his perspective. Just roll with me. So, learning the importance of submission, right? I don't always submit. I am human. Right? So I am not free from sin, nor do I ever claim to be the perfect anything, right? But I understand the importance of submission. I understand the importance of order. Understanding that, you know, in a marriage, in a family, in a household, you've got to have this umbrella. And the largest umbrella is God. The next umbrella is my husband. Underneath my husband's umbrella, it is me. Yes, Sonia. Beneath me, the children, then everybody else, right? And so I operate from a space where I understand that it is God, my husband, me, our son, then everybody else, right? That's what we have to prioritize, because that is the divine order. That is what I believe that the universe wants for me. Now, y'all operate your marriages however you like. I'm not judging, but that is how we operate. And so I had to learn to stir the greens and cook the corn. I had to learn that it's okay for me to be right and my husband to be right too. I've gotten quiet enough to understand that ain't neither one of us right. Don't neither one of us know what we talking about. Sometimes I've had to admit, okay, he right. I guess I'm wrong this time, right? So, you know, this process of pausing and reflecting allows us the opportunity to stir the greens and cook the corn, right? This is a metaphor for self-care. And just as you lovingly are preparing this meal to nourish your body, it means that we also have to take the time to nourish our soul. We've got to choose peace over prioritizing being right. I always say I would rather be at peace than to be broken into pieces. Yeah, Perk, we are all a work in progress. But this work right here, this work of art, because I'm a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time, y'all. Total shit show. Remember, I got it tatted. Beautiful disaster. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. But in the process, I'm going to pick and choose my battles. I'm going to engage in activities that bring me joy and peace. And one of the things that truly bring me peace sometimes is just being silent. I have this thing where I am a person who cannot stand to be cut off. It's a little different on social media because we got delays. So I'm a little more tolerant on social media. However, if we are face to face, if we are on the phone, I do not like to be cut off. And if you are a person who repetitively cuts me off, you will notice my silence. I am also a person who does not like to repeat myself. I don't like to say the same things twice. And so, stepping into motherhood, I had to teach my son at a very early age, how many times does mommy have to say something? And my son's response, even to this day, if I have to repeat myself to him, I'm like, how many times do I have to say it? And he's like, one time. And I said, because if I say it more than one time, he was like, it's too many. So like literally that is a mantra in our house. Or I'll say something like, asked and answered. You asked me a question, I answered it. It's not my problem you don't like the answer, right? Asked and answered. Welcome in, Coco. Rena, welcome in. Yeah, Perk, asked and answered. And I use that with everybody because that is how I learned how to stir the greens and cook the corn. And so that is me also setting my boundaries to say, hey, arguing with you, that's out of my comfort zone. I don't subscribe to that package. I'm not interested in that. It's not what I want to do. I don't want to be the man or the monkey in the glass house. I don't want to be either. I want to be the person walking down the street, soaking up the vibes. So again, make sure that you are continuously engaging in activities that bring you peace and joy. Make sure that you are surrounding yourself with positive energy and supportive people. It takes a village to get through life, not just to raise kids, y'all. It takes a village. And so, obviously our first step is understanding that self-care is not selfish. Self-care is essential. Choosing to be silent is a form of self-care sometimes. It's about creating a sanctuary within yourself where you can retreat and recharge. When you take care of yourself, you are better equipped to handle life's challenges. So because I spend so much time being so heavy on my self-care, when my husband gets to tripping, or hell, when I get to tripping, it is easier for me to bounce back. It is easier for me to recognize this situation does not require me to react. Or this situation doesn't even require a response. Sometimes I'm just here so I don't get fired. Present and accounted for, right? Not gonna argue. It's not a debate. There's no prize. There's nothing to win. I'm gonna just stay true. Trust the universe. God got me. What's for me is for me. Right? I'm gonna pull up every little quote from every little scripture from whatever I can grasp, okay? Brittany, you know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be like, whew, Jesus be a fence all around me. You better take this wheel. Because if you don't, I'm going to jail. Because if I react, I'm going to jail. Right? So Matthew 11:28 says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, I will give you rest. That's the moment where I'm just like, I'm gonna just let God do it. I'm gonna just let God have it. You got it. You got it, Jesus. You got it. I see. You got it. The battle is not mine. It's the Lord's. It is the Lord's. So remember that your silence, your patience, and your faith are not signs of weakness. They are truly signs of profound strength. You are choosing to rise above the noise. You are choosing to maintain your dignity. You are choosing to trust in the higher power. Kayla, welcome in. Let's reflect on this together. Think about a time where you faced a difficult situation and you chose to remain quiet. How did it feel? Right? Think about a situation where they was testing your gangster, okay? They was fitting to bring the old you back out. Welcome in, semester, right? But instead of reacting, you chose to remain silent. One crazy devil, great new day. Angela, welcome in. You chose to remain quiet. How did it feel? What was the outcome? Right? I know for me it feels great. It feels great when I have this moment to pause and reflect. Thank you, Breezy. You know, when I take a moment to not react to situations, I feel good. See, I'm very sarcastic, y'all, and I always got a response. Right? Pastor was definitely talking about me needing to learn how to stir the greens and cook the corn. Because, baby, the way my account, my internal account is set up, I always got something to say back. I'm quick with it. But I had to learn that energy doesn't serve me. I had to learn that everybody doesn't get a reaction out of me. Thank you, Ferg. That everybody doesn't get to experience me. Invincible, welcome in. So, you know, oftentimes we find that our silence speaks louder than any words could have ever said. So I told you guys, I'm a person who I don't like to be cut off. My husband is a person who has a tendency to cut you off. Because I really think he has like undiagnosed ADHD, but we working through it, right? And so because of that, he has thoughts on his mind and he has to get them out. And he is working towards being able to table it for a second to allow other people to process their thoughts. And I had to get him to understand that when you cut me off, you are telling me that what I'm saying is not as important as what you have to say. So when you are a person who constantly cuts people off, you are invalidating their feelings. And most of you don't intend to do it, right? But for people like me, it leaves us feeling invalidated. And then, you know, now we have a problem because what I had to say was equally as important. And so in that situation, you know, I had to get my husband to understand, you know, how that makes me feel and how that diminishes me. And y'all, I mean, we've been married for some years now. So I'm really good at stirring the greens and cooking the corn. So what happens is when he does not allow me to finish my thoughts, there are moments where I simply shut down. And he immediately recognizes it. Because see, if I keep fighting to say what I want to say, he'll then meet me with the same energy. He'd be like, hold on, babe. I know you were saying, I know I just cut you off, but let me just say this. No. So then I shut down. So in the moments that I choose to shut down, he understands more. Thank you, Ferg. He understands more because that silence speaks. So when I shut down and he sees that look on my face, then he stops and he goes, babe, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Thank you, Ferg. He's like, I cut you off. Go ahead, finish. Sometimes I finish, but sometimes I just really don't have the desire or the energy to because I choose peace. Right? So that's you know, the joy that you get from learning to stir the greens and cook the corn, right? Just to determine where your energy best lies. And sometimes, you know, not finishing the sentence is where it's at. Thank you, Ferg. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where you feel compelled to defend yourself, I encourage you to take a deep breath. I encourage you to stir the greens, cook the corn. Focus on what you can control and leave the rest to the higher power. Trust in the grand scheme of things, knowing that truth and justice always have a way of surfacing. Your silence can be your strength. Your quiet resolve is a testament to your faith. Not having to always argue back and defend yourself, that is a testament to your true faith, which shows how strong you really are. So let your actions speak for you, right? Let your consistency do the talking. Let your authenticity shine through. Those who are meant to see the truth will see it, no matter what you say. Those who aren't were never meant to be a part of your journey anyway. Dr. Seuss taught y'all that those who mind don't matter. And the people who matter don't mind it. Thank you, Semester. I appreciate you. So remember, sometimes the best thing that you can do is to remain quiet and let God show them. In those quiet moments where you choose to be silent, say less, right? In those moments, you are beginning to focus on nourishing your mind, right? Nourishing your body, healing yourself from within. Just like you would tend to your garden. I'm going to keep saying it. Stir the greens and cook the corn. Do the work that feeds your spirit and keeps you grounded. Understand that there are two places you don't have to go. Back and forth. I'm not fitting to go here and there with you. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I got somewhere to go. And maybe you just ain't meant to go with me. So 10 out of 10, I recommend choosing peace over being in pieces. And I'm not going to sit here and break myself down and dissect myself to make it easier for you to chew. Accept me as I am. Right, Crimson? Thank you, Semester. Accept me as I am. Right? So again, our quote that I want you guys to carry with you and allow to be a blessing for you today is that sometimes the best thing you can do is to remain quiet and let God show them. And my little translation for that, complimenting my pastor a decade ago, is to stir the greens and cook the corn. Give it to God. Let him do it. Because if y'all don't stop having y'all's hands all over it, you're going to jail. So, as we wrap up today's episode, I want to say thank you for joining us. If you guys enjoyed our time together, please be sure to give me a follow if we are not already friends. Make sure that you are subscribing to our channel so that way you never miss out on our latest content. And don't forget to head over to our website at theselfcareclub.org. So selfcareclub.org. There you can book a personalized coaching session with me. You can tap into our affirmative apparel. We also have other motivational merch, including music, as well as a treasure trove of free resources created just for you. So whether you're looking to elevate your self-care game or you just want to find some extra inspiration, know that we've got you covered. I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for being here today and for being a part of our Self-Care Club community. I am excited to connect with you all again. We do meet Monday through Friday. I start my day at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we do 30 minutes of mindfulness. Sometimes we have guided meditation. Today we just had a little musical selection from AJ Gent and his singing guitar. It was peaceful, it was relaxing, nice way to wake up and start the day. And then about 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday through Friday, we record the podcast. So I invite each and every one of you to join us weekdays. For those of you who may not have the availability during these times, I encourage you to head over to YouTube, search at Life Coach 614, and you can watch the live replays of the podcast. You can also tap into the music because the music is a vibe. So far, I have written and produced 2 albums that are out there, serving positivity with the music, right? So again, make sure you guys are tapping in to all the resources that we offer. It is more than the podcast. Room to Breathe is a podcast. Room to Breathe has music. Room to Breathe has a blog, right? So together we are healing. We are helping each other go from being hurt people to healing people. Nay, baby, welcome in, Nisi Poo. So again, I do thank each and every one of you for being here today. I am excited to connect with all of you again. And until the next time, keep breathing, stay positive, and remember that you are always supported here in this community. Hey girl, hey. Don't be afraid to take up space and make a little room for you to breathe. I hope that each and every one of you have an amazing day on purpose, filled with purpose, filled with positive energy. Go be great. Go be amazing individuals. I wish positivity to all of you, each and every one of you.
I found my